So what's the real reason most people are broke in the world? It's a controversial subject. I'm here in my other library. Was picking up this 50 success classics, just quotes by great people throughout history. Pardon the hair, it's early in the morning. But, you know, most of us operate under what I call pain-avoiding delusion, right? It's one of the 25 cognitive biases. And when it comes to this subject of money, nothing brings out delusion more. So one of the common things you'll hear people blame, I was talking with somebody the other day that was broke, and she said, but it's not my fault. And there's a little bit of truth to that. There's a little bit of truth to the problems in the world come from government and taxes. That's one of the things you're going to hear. The government's messing things up. There's the State of the Union speech the other day by the President of the United States, and he talks about many things, and a lot of those goals are noble. I'm not knocking completely the place of government, but I want to put it in perspective by reading you something that Benjamin Franklin said many years ago in the 1700s. Somebody came to him and said, the taxes are too high. That's why I'm not making any money. And he says, the taxes are indeed very heavy. And if those laid on by the government were the only ones we had to pay, we might more easily discharge them. But we have many others, talking about taxes, and much more grievous to some of us. We are taxed twice by our idleness, 3 times by our pride, and 4 times as much by our folly. And from these taxes, the commissioners cannot ease or deliver us by allowing an abatement. What his point is he was a man who mastered not only getting over pain-avoiding delusion, but also the misweighting bias. Most of us misprioritize those things that are actually holding us back in life. The main thing holding back the world is not government taxes. Look, if you change the tax rate, I'm reading here Mankiw, the famous Harvard professor, his book on economics. For sure, taxes matter. They cause shifts in demand curves and shifts in supply. But you know what will have the biggest bang for the buck? Optimized brains in 7.3 billion people around the world. That trumps everything. What keeps us from having an optimized brain? Well, he says right here, we're taxed doubly worse than the government tax by our own laziness, by our own idleness. Every morning I wake up, people talk about lifting weights. Lift weights for your brain. Your brain is a muscle. I mean, technically it's not a muscle, but it is a part of your body, a physical part of your body that can be worked out. We know this. All scientists would agree. That's why people, my grandma, she's 96 and very sharp. Now, some of that's good fate and good genes, but some of it she's been playing backgammon and chess her whole life. Keep the brain stimulated. Movement of the brain. These are the things that you must work on first. Remember, change your mind, change your life. Everybody wants to change life, but you have to change your mind. Humans are different because we have powerful minds. And sometimes that gets us in trouble, but if you pull it off right, it can bring you those things that you need in life, those things that you're missing, Everybody wants the good life. Like I say in my TEDx talk, everybody wants the good life, but not everybody gets the good life because most people aren't willing to do the stuff that it takes. They're not willing to put in the time, put in the grind. At the end of the day, if you live long enough, most people get what they deserve. That's one of the hardest things for people to cope with. At the end of the day, most of us get what we deserve. You look at your body, look at yourself naked in the mirror. I bet you your body is what you deserve. How you eat, how you exercise. You look at your bank account. I bet you it's what you deserve. Very rarely is that wrong. Sometimes in the short run, but not in the long run. Look at your social life. You probably get what you deserve. What do you think's owed to you? What do you think's owed to me? Nothing. Even the great Stephen Hawking, maybe the smartest person on the planet, he said, you create your own happiness. People ask, what's the meaning of life? He said, you create your own meaning. That means you work for it. You deserve it. To get what you want, you have to deserve what you want. Life is very short. I see people going, oh, I'm 22. I only have, I have all the world in front of me. You don't. First of all, tomorrow's not guaranteed. But more importantly, the age with which people are starting to become entrepreneurs. I read there's a kid, he made a nuclear power plant in San Francisco. He's 17 years old. That's your new competitor. So increase your sense of urgency as an intangible.
The secret to success is get hold of something and hang on. Just hang on. If somebody wants it, hang on to it. It's worth as much to you as it is to anybody who wants it. I have to think in the world now where everybody's idea of a business is make a business. I'm going to buy a piece of real estate. I'm going to flip it. I'm going to do it 1 week later. I'm going to buy a stock and short sale. This guy had a completely different approach. Get a hold of something and hang on to it. And if you look at some of the most successful people in the world, they follow that strategy. Bill Gates gave up very little shares in Microsoft. He owned, I think, 60% of it, even at its peak. He may have sold since then, but he got a hold of something and didn't let go. And he says, and again, that's the opposite of mentality that most people have. Warren Buffett has the same thing. He buys businesses that he would want to hold on to forever. You got to get good. We talked about this, getting good at one thing. But this guy was saying, I've heard this. This is a new, remember I said you got to create voices in your head? This is a voice. This Jack Simplot. They even put it on the back of the book. Grab a hold to something and hang on. If you don't have something to grab a hold of, you better freak out and find something to grab hold on. It could be an occupation. It could be a movement. It could be a charity. It could be a business. It could be an invention. It could be a piece of art. But grab hold of something and do not let go. Now, make sure you grab onto the right thing, because if you grab onto the wrong thing, you're in for some trouble. But have some investment. Don't spend all your cash so that when a good deal comes up, you have the money to buy it. If you're an artist, if you're a farmer, if you're an actor, whatever, you're going to need some cash. Don't spend the taw and get a hold of something.
If you want to make real money, you're going to have to be in possession of one certain skill. And it's not the simplest skill. It's the simplest to understand, but it's not the simplest to pull off. So I just took a little break here, walked out on my porch here at my home office, and I was thinking, because it's on my mind as I grow the different businesses that I have, or the businesses that we invest in, I think almost daily, man, I wish I could be better at this. And that one skill is the ability to pass your skills on to other people. So if you can't do this, which most people can never do, you will never get your nose away from the grind. You'll never be able to step back and look at the big picture. You'll be too busy running errands and running accounting and whatever it is. And you probably feel this in life.